Hello and welcome back, this is Insti, and I'm starting to playing Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Yes, I have finished Awaken Remastered and versus Arsène Lupin Remastered, or Nemesis, also known as Nemesis. And now it's time for the Jack the Ripper. This was released, wait, what? 2009. Awaken Remastered had been launched already, if I remember correctly, and if I remember correctly, the Nemesis remaster would be launched after this. Basically, this has the third persons and all the nice things. They were from the start, so there's no remaster of the Jack the Ripper. There's only one Jack the Ripper. Yeah, this is the third one of these series. Of course, this is, I think, fifth game of the same makers from Frogwares, I think. Yeah, Frogwares. And definitely this is the fifth game, but I tend to think the Awaken and Nemesis as and Jack the Ripper as a trilogy. So I don't know why. Probably because I bought them in the same pack, and they're quite similar in with the game engine perspective. After that, 2012 is this next Sherlock Holmes, which name eludes me at the moment. I'll have to actually check it because it's actually annoying. The Testament of the Sherlock Holmes, that was released in 2012. And it's a little bit newer engine. Anyways, yes, Jack the Ripper for these three of these games, it's much darker and much gorier, and so be warned. We will. I can't remember how detailed the bodies are, but if Awaken is anything to go by, it's gonna be quite gory. Awaken, these three games, Nemesis was the most light-hearted, funnier jokes. Nothing really bad happened to anyone. Then there's the Awaken, which had darker tones already, people dying and whatnot, but not so much in grand scheme of things. And then there's the Jack the Ripper. Obviously, it's darker because it's tied into the real life. So yeah, be warned, there will be death bodies and whatnot, and brothels and unfortunate women. If the subject matter is interesting, there are movies like From Hell, which in my mind. Some people don't like it, but I do like it. Johnny Depp makes a great role in that as Abberline, and late great Ian Holm is there. It's a decent movie. Of course, it's not based on the reality. In some parts it is, and in some parts it's total fiction. But if I remember correctly, the From Hell is based on comic book. I have read it, and now I can't remember the name and whatnot. If you remember it, just type it down there. But yeah, the comic book's also great. But the movie, it's okay. Definitely okay for a Jack the Ripper movie. It does capture the feeling. Of course, there are a few books, but Patricia Cornwell, she says that she's adamant who the killer was. I think he's incorrect for most of the parts, but there. Then there's the DNA study a few years ago that says that Jack the Ripper was so and so. Again, highly controversial study. The DNA tests. I delved into them a little bit, and although they're not as accurate as one would hope, obviously, and then we have the problem of the origins of the scarf where the DNA was taken. So yeah, I don't think the mystery of Jack the Ripper has been solved, at least in that sense that you could say that, yeah, it was that guy or that guy. Anyways, I digress. That's enough for the backdrop. Let's start a new game. I do have a music at the moment. I had to remove them from Nemesis, as the problem was that I got copyright claim on for first 2 episodes and the last episode, even though I had removed the music, but there was some music with the within the game sounds. Fortunately, I removed that, but there might be copyright music here. I do enjoy the music in this game, but I'll have to see how it goes. Anyways, let's jump in. I blabbed too much about it already.
In the name of my health and yours, Holmes, stop smoking so much. There is more fog in our apartment than in the street.
You are right, Watson, but this evening is never ending, and I have nothing to do but make smoke rings. A more amusing pastime would suit better, but my doctor is against it.
Perhaps a little tune on the violin.
My heart is not in it tonight, Watson. Have you noticed how this cigarette burns? Would you not say it is like a life being consumed? How many lives will end tonight in London? How many crimes will be committed within the life of a single cigarette? Ah, the vanity of existence. It is but complaints and smoke, the meagre panache of its sickly soul.
The tobacco is giving you very sombre thoughts. I am certain that this inactivity will not last. Let's retire. You'll be in better humour tomorrow.
Reason speaks. Let's to bed.
Come this way, my lovely. We'll have a right good time. Wait, let me help you. Oh, it's my hair that pleases you.
The news is as dark as the sky, Holmes. An inquest has been opened into the murder of a poor woman in the East End. The unfortunate girl was discovered last night, lying in the street, still warm. The murderer was filled with an incredible savagery. Oh, the article gave me shivers down my spine. The inspectors in charge of the case don't seem to have even the slightest lead. A similar murder took place less than a month ago.
Ah, love. A romantic walk, a kiss in the moonlight, a polite refusal, a terrible anger, and a hanging.
This area of Whitechapel is a disgrace to London. The government should take serious note of what is going on there.
Whitechapel? This woman was found in Whitechapel?
Yes, indeed. Bucks Row, to be specific.
Then it was not a question of romance, but of commerce. Unless these women actually take pleasure in the vice, the female nature is completely...
Holmes, do you hear yourself? A woman is dead under unspeakable circumstances. No less than any other, she was a human and one of Her Majesty's subjects. None of these streetwalkers of which you speak have any other way to survive but by selling their bodies. You know as well as I that our era is not a gentle one, and these women don't have much to look forward to. Some grace, if you would. Do not refuse them your compassion.
Do not say another word, my dear Watson. We shall leave immediately for Whitechapel.
To the scene of the crime?
No, I think it would be better to arrive there a bit later once night has fallen. At the moment, the spot will be overrun by police officers and spectators. It would be impossible to investigate properly.
Then where are we going, Holmes?
The best thing to do would be to head to the police station and attempt to get a copy of the preliminary reports.
But the article in the Star seemed quite complete to me.
You must know, Watson, that journalists often draw conclusions from the facts without a proper understanding of how to do this delicate task. We must obtain the reports from the inspector in charge, as well as those from the coroner.
Very well, Holmes, but all the same.
It seems to me that I have a map of London somewhere, Watson. Can you find it and locate Whitechapel while I get ready?
You are too kind, Holmes. Searching through your mess?
Okay. How long is this? Well, I might as well read it. The special edition, The Whitechapel Horror, the third crime of a man who must be a maniac. Woman lured to by streets to be butchered. The latest victim identified. Opening of the inquest. Great local excitement. The victim of the latest Whitechapel Horror, the woman who was found yesterday morning in the Bucks Row, completely disemboweled and with her head nearly gashed from her body, was for a time completely unknown. As the news of the murder spread, however, first one woman and then another came forward to view the body, and at length it was found that the woman answering the description of the murdered woman had lodged in a common lodging house, 18 Troll Street, Spitalfields. Women from that place were fetched and they identified the deceased as Paulie, who had shared room with 3 other women in the place on the usual terms of such houses, nightly payments of 4D. Each woman having a separate bed. It was gathered that the deceased had led a life of unfortunate while lodging in the house, which was only for about 3 weeks past. 4 pence. Yeah, sorry, not D. Nothing more was known of her by them, but that when she presented herself for the lodgings on Thursday night, she was turned away by the deputy because she had not the money. She was then the worse for drink, but not drunk, and turned away laughing, saying, "I'll soon get my DOS money. See what Charlie bonnet I've got now." Okay. She was wearing a bonnet which she had not been seen with before, and left the lodging house door. A woman on the neighborhood saw her later, she told the police, even as late as 2:30 on Friday morning in the Whitechapel Road. Late as 2:30 on the Friday morning. Oh, sorry. So yeah, late 2:30 on Friday morning in Whitechapel Road. Opposite the church and at the corner of Osborne Street, and at the 3:45 she was found within 500 yards of the spot murdered. The people of the lodging house knew her as Paulie, but at about 7:30 last evening, a woman named Marianne Monk, at the present an inmate of Lambeth Workhouse, was taken to the mortuary and identified the body as that of Mary Ann Nichols, also called Paulie Nichols. She knew her, she said, as they were inmates of the Lambeth Workhouse together in April and May last, the deceased having been passed there from another workhouse. On 12th May, according to Monk, Nichols left the workhouse to take situation as a servant at Ingleside. One word comma. Sorry. It afterward became known that the Nichols betrayed her trust as a domestic servant by stealing £3 from her employer and absconding. From that time, she had been wandering about. Monk met her, she said, about 6 weeks ago, went herself out of the workhouse and drank with her. She was sure the deceased was Paulie Nichols, and having twice viewed the features as the body lay in the shell, maintained her opinion. There is terribly significant similarity between this ghastly crime and the two mysterious murders of women which have occurred in the same district within the last 3 months. In each case, the victim has been a woman of abandoned character. Each crime has been committed in the dark hours of the morning, and more important still, as pointing to one man, and that man a maniac, being the culprit. Each murder has been accompanied by hideous mutilation. In the second case, that of woman Martha Turner, it will be remembered that no fewer than 30 stabs were inflicted. The scene of this murder was George Yard, a place appropriately known locally as the slaughterhouse. As in both other cases where there was in this not the slightest clue to the murderer. No one was known to have any motive for causing the woman's death. She was parted from her husband and had lived with a man named Turner, but the searching coroner's inquiry revealed nothing connecting either with the crime. It was fancied that some of her many wounds had been caused by a bayonet, and she was said to have been seen with the soldiers shortly before her death. Some soldiers were paraded at the tower, and one was said to have been identified by a policeman and having been waiting about George's Yard just about the time of the murder, but nothing came of it. The first murder, which, strangely enough, did not arouse much interest, was committed in Osborne Street. The woman in that case was alive when discovered but unconscious, and she died in the hospital without recovering her senses. Consequently, she was unable to whisper a word to put the police on the track of her fiendish assailant, and her murder has remained a mystery. All three crimes have been committed within very small radius. Each of the ill-lighted thoroughfares to which the women were decoyed to be foully butchered are of turnings from Whitechapel Road, and all are within half-mile. The fact that these three tragedies have been committed within such a limited area and are so strangely alike in their details is forcing on all minds the conviction that they are the work of some cool, cunning man with a mania for murder. There was no new light thrown on the case this morning. At 9 o'clock, the body of deceased was removed from the mortuary to an improved operating room on the premises, and Dr. Ralph Llewellyn made the post-mortem examination. The object of the examination was to determine, if possible, the order in which the various cuts were made. It is evident from the cuts in the throat that the head was bent back by the murderer before the knife was used. Whether other mutilation took place before or after death remains to be settled, as also the position in which the woman lay when the deed done. There are several questions of this kind which may throw light on the case, notably the small quantity of blood at the place where she was found, and the fact that there must have been much of it somewhere else. At present, clues to the murder are entirely lacking, and the location of place where the deed was done was the first point necessary to establish. Well, that was a mouthful. Anyways, we continue. Okay, that's interesting. What do we have? Nothing. Dialogues, obviously. We can have these documents. Do I have hints? The notes. The notes don't contain any new items. They are only meant to expound upon the facts already stated. Okay, and well, obviously we don't have map. No, I want to be a first person. You control Dr. Watson. To move in the game, just left click on the destination you want to reach, double click to make him run. We don't make Watson run. That would be at least not for now. Let's check all these.
Well, well, Holmes has received some French champagne with a card, a gift from a young admirer, signed Raoul d'Andrecy. Who on earth could that be?
I have no idea. But that's a nice bottle of champagne anyways.
Holmes's experiment table.
Yes, it is. I'm almost certain we will be using it. I think there's the map. Can I...
Treaty on Cornish, the Celtic dialect of Cornwall. And here, medieval pottery. How can Holmes...
No idea. Again, pretty much...
Holmes uses this old Persian slipper to hold his pipe tobacco.
Yes, he does.
Holmes uses
oh,
this
no,
old...
No.
This is how Holmes stores...
These are...
This is the coal bucket in which Holmes keeps his cigars. What a funny idea.
Yes, definitely. I'm guessing I can't enter.
Have you found the map of London, Watson? Come, my friend, it can't be too far. Be sure to locate the police station in Whitechapel we must get to.
Understood, Holmes.
Yes, we must do that. Where's the Cthulhu statue? It was in Nemesis. Yeah, it was here. I'm guessing they have changed. There's the map. Before we take that, I'll check my room. Hopefully this is not too dark. Yes, obviously Watson is typing our stories. Okay, let's grab the map so we can
A map of London, at last. Let's see. The district of Whitechapel.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a hint system or not in this game, actually. That would be interesting. If that's the case, well, if I have to, I will use walkthroughs, because if I get really stuck, there's no point in me being stuck there forever. Anyways, what is this? This is Whitechapel. Map of London, map of Whitechapel. Okay. This first episode will be probably a little bit slower, as I'll check the lay of the land, and also... there's the police station. And also we probably check the Whitechapel before we go to the police station.
I found the map, Holmes, and I was able to locate the Whitechapel police station.
Congratulations, Watson. Come, the game is afoot. You can read the article to me on the way. We have arrived, Watson, in Whitechapel.
Not very bright, and what cold! Brr, a typical London morning.
Come, Watson, let's find this police station.
Well, that was easy. It's straight at us. I'll check if there's anything. Yeah, that's interesting. I can't see if there's a hint system, but obviously I will save. No, I don't see anywhere. I'll have to check that at some time. But again, then I use walkthroughs or something like that if I need help. But let's just take a little tour of the Whitechapel area. We can also run. Oh, there's something there. Ah, commercial street.
I have no reason to go that way.
Yeah, I can't even speak at the moment. Yeah, commercial street. We are going to use quite a lot of time here also. Is there... what is that?
Burner Street.
Oh, Burner Street, okay. Ah, Wasp's Nest. What a lovely place. Probably. Don't know. At least yet. Can I... Is there a gamma? Yes, there is. I might add a little bit. No, maybe too much. Let's see how it looks. I'll have to see later if I add more, because overall it's ideally to have this gloomy air on this game, that's the point. Batty Street.
Batty Street.
Can I talk to you?
Got a shilling, Gov?
Yeah, but not for you at the moment, at least. No, get away from me. Yeah. I was just thinking... One movie. Scary movie, actually. Hello, horsey. Have you heard anything? Any news on the street? No? Okay, tell me if you find something. I'll bring you carrots for the information. Okay. I'm guessing this is area we don't go.
I have no reason to go that way.
Yeah, the large address aware and DLL things help. This is a church. Oh, I can't enter. And Whitechapel Street. Dispensary. Yeah, it seems like there's no stutter, or if there is so little that it doesn't cause problems. I think the large address awareness helped, and it should help me that I can save at any time. I had
no reason to go that way.
I encountered the bug in, well, basically in Awaken and Nemesis. In Awaken, in the last area, I couldn't save anymore, and I think that's the murder scene. Oh.
A gathering, Holmes, and policemen. Let's go see, perhaps.
No, Watson, we have some business to take care of, and we are better off remaining discreet. Let's go to the police station.
Okay, but yeah, yeah, I couldn't save in the Awaken in the last area, and I had that in my first gameplay also when I played it way back. So that is a bug, and then of course I encountered it again in Nemesis, and the large address aware thingy helped in that regard, and allowed me to save, and also I think it removed most of the stuttering. And in Nemesis I encountered a bug where I couldn't change the graphic settings. Well, I could, but they didn't stick. So there I had to use some DirectX DLL. So it allowed me to save the settings, and they work. These three fixes work in this game, Awaken and Remaster, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we have studied everything we need to. Oh, is there anything? No. So let's go inside, so we can do something on this.
Well, this station isn't very well kept, I say.
It's a local outpost, Watson. The daily tasks that confront these constables are not the easiest, and they are poorly paid.
Yeah, this definitely is not the cleanest area. But I'm almost certain we will find even more dirtier areas.
This police station is like a laundry. What a scandal.
Everything is a scandal for you, Watson. Oh, interesting pictures. There's a door. Let's talk. Oh, what is that?
Look, a suspect description. Michael Ostrog, wanted for questioning. Dangerous.
Okay. Why is that important? Maybe later. Okay, hello there, good sir.
Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello, I would like to speak with the Chief Inspector, if you please.
Constable Humphreys here. I am the only one in at the moment. What do you want with the Chief?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am...
Sherlock Holmes? The detective that I read about in the papers? Well, that's a treat, that is. You come about the Buck Road case, have you?
Indeed, we...
Not at all. We were just passing by chance. You say that there was a crime recently.
You don't know? You must be the only folk in London who haven't heard.
It won't be long until you find the culprit, no doubt.
Nothing is less certain. Suspects, 0. Clues, 0. It's not good for us, especially not in this district.
Okay, and Watson, do shut up. Reports.
Listen, this isn't what I came here for, but if I can be of service, in a confidential capacity, of course, if you can entrust me with a copy of the preliminary reports, I could study them and return later with my conclusions.
It's just that these are official documents. I can't take a decision like that without the inspectors.
The sooner we know the facts in the file, the sooner we can be of help, my friend.
Say, if you are Sherlock Holmes, you can find anything, isn't that true? With your magnifying glass, footprints?
My performances are often embellished by my biographer.
Oh, good, good. I will give you the reports, but could you do me a small favour first? During my rounds, I dropped a leather folder containing some papers. Nothing of importance, but it's a big mistake. I would go looking for it myself, but I am stuck here on duty. I must have lost it near the seedy boarding house not far from here. Left when you leave the courtyard and left again in the lane. Perhaps you could go, ask around.
Ah, quid pro quo. Well, apparently we have to do this. So... let's go and search those papers, which will be interesting. Anyways.
We shall see what we can do. Are we going to go look for these documents?
Why not? It'll give us an occasion to take a tour of the district, Watson.
Okay. So... little folder containing some papers, nothing... It would be interesting to know where... Excuse me, sir. Don't bump me. It's starting to seem like there's no hint system in this, which is a shame. That's actually a nice boost in the older games that could help you, unless I'm missing something.
Can I help you, my lord?
Me lord. Where could it be? I have no recollection. Let's talk to him.
Good day, sir. You wouldn't happen to have seen a leather folder on the ground around here, would you?
Good day, gentlemen. Finley, caretaker of this building. Here to serve. And yes, less than an hour ago. But some of the local urchins picked it up and God only knows where it might be now.
That's unfortunate. This police bag contained documents that the local police will miss.
You're inspectors?
Not at all. I am Dr. Watson, and this is Sherlock Holmes, the detective.
Sherlock Holmes, the great detective. You must be here about last night's murder. Have you discovered the identity of the poor woman?
Indeed, I'd only to read the papers.
Mine is dated from this morning, and it does not say who it is.
Anyways, about the police case.
I'm not really engaged in this case, but if I can help the police, I will do so willingly.
Oh, to be sure. I've been told that Inspector Abberline is in charge. A very capable man.
But about the leather folder.
So, according to you, I have no chance of finding this folder then?
Indeed. But I, on the other hand, should be able to find it. Do me a favour in exchange. A vagrant comes almost every night to sleep in one of the nooks not far from my windows. He coughs, howls, sometimes even sings. He's quite hefty and I don't dare approach him. I've lost 3 tenants because of him. If it's you who speaks to the police, they will take this matter more seriously. Tell them about the captain. They'll know who you're talking about. In the meantime, I'll find your police bag.
Okay, why did... Oh, this is the different paper. Scarcely the horror and senses are caused by the discovery of the murdered woman in Whitechapel some short time ago had time to abate when another discovery made which, for the brutality exercised on the victim is even more shocking and will no doubt create as great a sensation in the vicinity as its predecessor. The affair up to the present is enveloped in complete mystery, and the police have as yet no evidence to trace the perpetrators of the horrible deed. The facts are that Constable John Neal was walking down Bucks Row, Thomas Street, Whitechapel, about 3:15 on Friday morning when he discovered a woman between 35 to 40 years of age lying at the side of the street with her throat cut right open from ear to ear. The instrument which the deed was done traversing the throat from left to right, the wound was about 2 inches wide and blood was flowing profusely. She was discovered to be lying in a pool of blood. She was immediately conveyed to the Whitechapel mortuary, when it was found that beside the wound in the throat, the lower part of the abdomen was completely ripped open, with bowels protruding. The wound extends nearly to her breast and must have been effected with a large knife. As the corpse lies in the mortuary, it presents a ghastly sight. The victim seems to be between 35 and 40 years of age and measure 5 feet 2 inches in height. The hands are bruised and bear evidence of having engaged in a severe struggle. There is the impression of a ring having been worn on one of the deceased fingers, but there is nothing to show that it had been wrenched from her in a struggle. Some of the front teeth have also been knocked out, and the face is bruised on both cheeks and very much discolored. Deceased wore a rough brown ulster with large buttons in front. Her clothes are torn and cut up in several places, bearing evidence of the ferocity in which the murder was committed. The only way by which the police can prosecute an inquiry at present is by finding someone who can identify the deceased, and then, if possible, trace those into whose company she was last seen. In Bucks Row, naturally, the greatest excitement prevails, and several persons in the neighborhood state that an affray occurred shortly after midnight, but no screams were heard, nor anything beyond that what might have been considered evidence of an ordinary brawl. In any case, the police unfortunately have great difficulty in bringing to justice the murder of the murderer or murderers. Great fire at the London warehouses. Fire broke out shortly before 9 o'clock Thursday night, one of the huge warehouses of the London warehouse. Oh. Do I need to read this? The warehouses were closed as usual at 4 in the afternoon, and there are then few persons except the night policeman and fireman left the premises. At about 8:30, a smell of fire was noticed, and shortly afterwards there was an immense burst of flames from the top of one of the vast buildings right in the center of the warehouses. The volume of the fire was terrific, but at 9 o'clock the authorities of the fire brigade had heard nothing of the occurrence. Shortly afterwards, an alarm was given at the Whitechapel station, and the officials of their brigade instantly ordered every steamer to proceed to the scene, and the circulation of the news amongst the other stations caused steamers to be sent on from every district in London. On arrival of the engines, it was found that a fire of enormous strength was raging in the upper floors of a great building about 150 yards long and half as broad. The flames could not have broken out in a more dangerous part of the warehouses than the site of this fire, the South Quay warehouses. They were crammed with the colonial produce in the upper floors and brandy and gin in the lower floors. Through the great iron-barred windows, the fire could be seen raging like a furnace, and the enormous tongues of bluish and yellowish flames which constantly burst up with great roars pointed to the fact that the spirits were aiding the progress of the flames. The scene at 10:30 was an imposing one. In the enormous warehouses crammed with goods of incalculable value, with vast buildings of every side, and with great vessels in the wet warehouses, Firemen, policemen, and dog officer were either watching or aiding in the endeavoring to extinguish the fire, while an enormous crowd gathered around the great gates and gazed at the progress in the fire from the distance.
Let's go to the police station.
I don't know. Well, there were more information in the another paper about the killing from left to right and the sizes of the gash. I think there will be yes, there will be a time where we what?
I have nothing to ask.
And I don't know if the fire has anything to do with this situation. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. In these games, you never know. So let's see what we can do with the information we already have.
So, gentlemen, have you found my police bag?
Captain.
Not quite yet. Do you know a vagrant who goes by the name of the Captain?
Captain? Yes, an old sailor, strong as a Turk and tattooed from head to toe. The drink has turned him into a derelict.
He appears to be causing some problems for the caretaker of the building at the end of the street.
What do you want us to do? Every night, stairwells, halls and porches become public dormitories, and people don't only come to sleep. I believe this man has a niece who puts him up sometimes. Her lodgings are in Commercial Street, right after the alley with the boarding house. You won't forget my folder, will you?
Do you believe this woman will agree to have her uncle stay with her?
No idea. Oh well, let's go see her just the same.
Okay, so we need to find the need. Are you following me? Okay, where? I think it's a down. Wait, what? Now the singer has changed as a music player. Okay. Oh, right, it's over there we have to talk, okay?
There. This is where the niece of the captain must live.
Apparently so. Let's talk to her.
Good day, miss. Would you happen to be the niece of the man known as the Captain?
Oh, yes, that would be me. What has he done this time? He isn't... Oh my god, I'm on my way.
Okay, your uncle. Oops, your
Yes,
uncle.
we have come to ask if you could have your uncle come live with you. He sleeps under the windows of a boarding house, causes the caretaker no end of problems.
I know. I've lodged him for a while, and he was the same here. My landlord made me kick him out. I'm ashamed, you know. I never should have, given the state of his health. He coughs day and night.
Coughs, okay.
There might be a way to calm his cough. I am a doctor. I could examine him.
He went to see a doctor at the clinic, but the medicine costs too much. I can hardly pay my rent.
We will see to it. Where might your uncle be found?
I don't know. He must be in the vicinity, but I don't know exactly where.
Okay.
We will find him.
Holmes, this is serious. Find an alcoholic in Whitechapel? A needle in a haystack would be easier.
Come, dear doctor, let's trust to our lucky star. Moreover, we also have our informers, remember?
Are you referring to those brats to whom you are always giving charity?
Exactly, my secret police. Some of them must surely roam in this area. It suffices to find them.
And there it is. The needle in the haystack is interesting, yes, but what about hay in the needle stack? I would say that would be much more difficult. I'm sorry, I can't read, I can't speak. Anyways, let's talk to him because we need his help.
Hello, young man. How are you?
I recognize him. It's the lad who sells newspapers, who is always calling outside our windows at Baker Street early in the morning.
Good
Hello,
observation.
Mr. Holmes. It's a treat to see you again. What can I do?
the captain.
Would you happen to know an old sailor who goes by the name of the Captain? A poor man who hits the bottle a bit hard.
Of course, Mr. Holmes. He's there at the end of the street. Round to the left he is. But be careful, he can be a tough customer, that one.
Very good, my young man. The doctor will give you a little something. Watson?
Huh? I say, Holmes?
Is he always such a skinflint with you, Mr. Holmes? Well, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes. Anytime you need me.
Watson, I'm disappointed at you. I truly am. Shame yourself. To be honest, why we didn't ask about the police papers from that boy? Because he probably knows the people who stole that. So was it this street and left?
I can hear someone coughing more than is natural, Holmes.
Yes, Watson. The poor man cannot be too far away.
Yeah, I guess we found him. He's right over here, I think.
If, in order to listen to us, this man imposes as condition that we find his pet cockroach, there will be another murder in Whitechapel today, Watson. Yours.
Ah,
Okay. State of the captain.
he is in a critical state, Holmes. He has barely a month left.
Is there a way, dear doctor, to ensure that this last month passes in silence?
Really, Holmes, sometimes you... Oh, really? I will make note of some medicine to get immediately that will relieve his pain.
Very well. I will locate an apothecary or a clinic.
Okay. We have boarding house, we have dead end, Lucy's lodgings, and here is the clinic. There we need to go. So I think I know where it is. We already saw it when I was walking around and blabbing my mouth. I think we should be quite soonish there. I think it's left from here. There's a little bit stuttering, I've noticed, but not as bad it could be. But anyways, I think this is the place where we need to be.
A little polishing on your shoes, mister. They need it.
I don't have legs. Anyways,
This building is a clinic.
it sure is. Sure is. I don't know. What was that sound? Oh, it... Oh. Okay. Interesting. There's a good doctor. What are those flags? He really can't make sense. It almost looked like German, but I'm not certain. Anyways, we need medicine. You sir there.
Good day, sir. Dr. Gibbons. You aren't from around these parts.
Indeed, Doctor. It is for someone from your neighborhood that I am here, though. His doctor asked that I acquire some medicine on his behalf. I have the note here.
Dr. Watson? Not from round here neither. This medication is quite dear. Certain documents are necessary to obtain them for free.
Spare change.
I don't have it. You'll have to accept my spare change. Will it be enough?
Enough to relieve your patient for a month. Would you like me to make this prescription available after that time?
According to Dr. Watson, that won't be necessary.
The possibility of a recovery?
A definitive one, yes.
There, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's a clinic. Where is everyone?
It's rather quiet here.
An unusual chain of events. The majority of the people hereabouts went out last night to see the great fire at the warehouse. The patients that I was minding and my staff were no exception. The former were dramatically healed, and the latter ended up sick. And with the murder last night, most of the people who weren't working wandered over to the scene of the crime. Their little aches and pains will wait until tonight or tomorrow.
A squalid murder, it would seem.
Just like what this area has become.
Goodbye.
My thanks, Doctor.
Not at all.
What are you doing with that needle? Okay, okay. So now we have the medicine. And now we have a flower lady. Okay. Let's go back to Watson and see if we can get the poor captain at least nice lodgings before the end. I'm almost certain that horsey will always run past that. Yeah, they're still a little bit stuttering, but not as bad it could be. Yeah, I think it's here. But if I keep it steady, everything should be fine.
Here is the medication, Watson. Is our man movable?
He should be able to stand in a few minutes and will no longer be suffering from his cough before long.
Consider the affair resolved. Accompany him to his niece's while I return to the boarding house, and then join me at the police station. Let's return to the boarding house.
Let's. Yeah, again, I have to apologize. This first episode is a little bit slower. It starts here. Can't remember how long this game is. I think it's a little bit longer than the other two, but not by much. Obviously, it's also dependable, depending how long you use per puzzles. Anyways.
I have good news for you, Mr. Finley. We have sent a captain to stay with a relative, and he shouldn't bother you for a while.
I also have some good news. I have your police bag.
Thank you. I bid you good day.
Oh, it was nothing. Tell me, one of my wife's friends lost...
Another day, Finley. Another day. Let's go to the police station.
I'm almost certain we have to come here also at some point. But not at the moment. Let's go back to the police station and hopefully we can get the papers. Smells delicious. What's in it? Please don't tell. Okay. And here we are. Where's Watson? Well, I hope he will arrive soon.
So, what news do you have, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, right.
Are you sure it's the police bag that you lost?
Yes, but someone attempted to force it open. They didn't succeed, but now the lock is stuck. Perhaps you could...
Let's see.
Okay, what am I... Huh. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So am I guessing that this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Maybe. Can I? No, I can't. Alright, I should probably also roll this one. Oh, now the one is over there. That's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Everything else is okay, but not the numbers down there. And I'm still not positive that's a correct way to do it either. Oh, I thought I was... rolling this one. Oh, I have to be more precise. If I press here, yeah. Ah. Whoa. Do I need to reset? You can reset it. Is okay. Probably have to reset. It will be easier like that. So what do I need to do? Well, let's see. So I have one here. 3 here. If I put this over here. Okay, I'm gonna check. Then I could get the 2 over here. But do I want 2 over there? What do I do with now? If I could get 3 over there. Let's see what happens. Because if I get 3 over there, then I could then I have these over. Am I getting? Okay, yes. This goes over there. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, it worked. It worked.
All done.
A big thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Think nothing of it, my friend.
Okay, I got a bit lucky there. The reports.
So, the reports.
Why don't you wait till the inspectors get back? You would certainly learn more.
If I wanted to meet the inspectors, I would have done so. So, give me the preliminary reports, and above all, do not mention my visit to anyone. Is that clear?
Sure, if that's what you want. Here are the reports.
Thank you.
Okay. Death of Paulie Nichols, 31st August 1888. Autopsy report by Dr. Henry Llewellyn, surgeon. Her throat had been cut from left to right, 2 distinct cuts being on the left side, the windpipe, gullet and spinal cord being cut through, a bruise apparently of a thumb being on the right lower jaw. Also one on the left cheek. The abdomen had been cut open from the center of the bottom of the ribs along the right side. Under the pelvis to the left of the stomach, there the wound was jagged. The omentum or coating of the stomach was also cut in several places, and 2 small stabs on private parts, apparently done with a strong bladed knife, supposed to have been done by some left-handed person, death being almost instantaneous. Grizzly.
Have you obtained the preliminary reports?
Yes, we'll read them on the go. Let's to the scene of the crime at Bucks Row, Watson.
Okay. I'll make a save here and get something to drink. I'll go to the Bucks Row, at least in this episode, and do that. After that, I'll probably end this episode, but be right back. So, let's go to the Grizzly murder scene. Again, I can't really speak at all. Why are you running? Can I talk to her anymore? No, I cannot. That's just more street names. Nothing terribly interesting. Yeah, again. Let's see. We are going on the right way at the moment. What is that? Forest packing tissue. Grease proofs. The Black Lion noted stout and celebrated ales. Donovan Bros, the noted house of paperbacks. Like, is this the right area? Hopefully this is it. This is it. Okay, yeah, it looks like.
But what are all these people doing here, Holmes?
Apparently they came to see the scene of the crime.
What about us? Aren't we going to see it?
We will return this evening, Watson. The circumstances should be ideal for carrying out our little experiments. Well, Watson, we are at the scene of the Paulie Nichols murder. Imagine the victim lying at the spot where she was found and try to discern all of the clues we can. Watson, you are a writer. I am therefore entrusting you with our deduction board. It will help us to establish certain facts.
Understood, Holmes.
Okay. Whoa. This is quite dark. So let's start with that. Okay.
No signs of blood.
Deduction board, what is this? Help, okay. And what is this? Paulie Nichols. Alright, we will put this on here, I think. Okay. What else we do have? Let's check that.
No marks on the ground. The ground is muddy.
Okay.
Let's look at this poor woman more closely.
So. Anything? Well, obviously slashes.
The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions.
That we can see, yes.
There's a bruise on the left cheek.
There were bruises. And
there's a bruise at the level of the right maxilla.
Yes.
A small pool of blood, 6 inches in diameter.
Anything else? I'll try to be as thorough as I can. How do I know?
Let's look at this poor woman more closely.
Do I need to find...
The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions. The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions. The tongue is swollen.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Have I now found everything? Yes, I have. Okay, that's good to know. So if you have found everything, it turns green.
The body was lying on its back, legs straightened slightly apart. The skirt had been lifted up to the middle of the body. The left hand was touching the barn door. The body was still warm. Let's reread the preliminary report for the details on the wounds inflicted upon this poor woman.
Yes, let's read, but... Okay. The bruise apparently of a thumping on the right lower jaw. Also one of the left cheek. The abdomen had been cut open from the center of the bottom of the ribs to along right side. Under the pelvis to the left of the stomach there the wound was jagged. The omentum or coating of the stomach was also cut in several places, and 2 small stabs on private parts, apparently done with a strong bladed knife, supposed to have been done by some left-handed person, death being almost instantaneous. Okay.
There is a black bonnet near the left hand.
Anything else? I think I've studied everything from here. So, dirty and damp ground. Does it come here? Yes. Victim had her throat slit. Yes. Oh, it came here. A little plot of black bonnet. Can I put this on the wrong places? Probably not. No traces of blood on the walls. The victim had a throat slit. The wall was washed. The killer slit the victim's throat quietly. Well, that really doesn't matter. The victim didn't have her throat slit while standing. Am I missing something? I'm gonna check one thing, because I saw there are other things to see.
This spot is deserted, Holmes. The prostitutes only come here to exercise.
Okay. Yeah, I have to be careful.
There's only one streetlight lit on this street, Watson, and this spot is particularly poorly lit. Well, Watson, we have found all of the possible clues, I think. We will now attempt to recreate the scene of the murder. Come closer, Watson. I have to make you up.
You are joking, Holmes?
Okay.
I feel ridiculous, Holmes.
Now, Watson, come and stand here in front of me. You shall play the role of the poor woman and I shall play that of the murderer. Let's try to reconstruct the facts to ensure the final result corresponds indisputably to the way that Paulie Nichols was killed.
Yeah, I remember there should be this ding before the deduction board. Standing. Bare hands and knife. What are we doing actually? I would say it was stand up, bare hands. I think. I'm not certain which. Oh, okay. It seemed like he had only one thumb print on the right side of the head. If you're looking from the straight forward, next stomach. Well, there's no choice. Let's see how. What is this? Oh, I can rotate this. Different areas, okay. Because he has multiple bruises on the left side of. If you're looking forward. So let's try this.
This position is unlikely.
Oh, right, he uses both hands, okay. So, let's try with this.
Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this.
Okay. So that's most likely. Okay. Now lying down, knife. Has to be on... Or has it? Well, it would make easier to cut right. Oh, with left hand, maybe? Yeah, this... let's try this.
The murderer had enough room to inflict the wounds to the neck, and these wounds suggest the left hand was used. My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Okay, yeah. So, when you first gather the clues, you have to get a notification that you have all the clues. Then you get to the reenactment scene. I remember there was a reenactment scene. And after you do it correctly, you get to this board. So now we have to put these on here. The prostitute only go down. Yeah, okay. Black bonnet near the left hand, Paulie lit street. The prostitutes only go down the street to exercise. Because if you don't have everything, you may probably make wrong choices. The victim was holding her bonnet in her hand at the time of the murder. The bonnet was already on the ground. The victim wasn't cold. Well, we have seen the video, and it would suggest that it was in her hand. Well, not arms. The victim called the bonnet from the ground. I'm guessing she wasn't afraid because, well, we have seen the video. I guess that's the correct one. So obviously she wasn't knowing what she was what would happen. So she wasn't afraid at first. P. Nichols wasn't cautious. P. Nichols didn't have a bonnet. P. Nichols had her bonnet in her hand and was ready to exercise. Well, yeah. Okay, I think this is correct because this is green. I'm gonna check it. Yep, definitely. Green is good. No traces of blood on the walls, and the victim had her throat slit. Well, not on the walls because she wasn't standing. This doesn't bear anything in here. Okay, a little pool of blood. Well, didn't flow because if she was already strangled, I'm guessing. So dirty and damp ground. There were relations on the ground. No. He could not have had relations on the ground. The murderer threw water on the ground. Well, he could not. There's no... I'm guessing he could not. Okay, so if I choose Paulie on here, interesting. So I can get this. So what do I have? P. Nichols wasn't killed here. P. Nichols was dead before being stretched out and having her throat slit. P. Nichols was killed by having her throat slit. Okay, can I go back? What happens if I water on the ground? Does it change these? No. Not standing. Relation. Could not have relations. So yeah, I think she was dead before being stretched out. Because again, she was strangled. Okay, I think, yeah, this is correct because obviously. One of two. No footsteps on the ground. Where does this go? Okay. Tongue bloated. Okay, so orange goes to orange. Victim was bruised on the right jawbone. Still warm. I don't know if you can even put this on the wrong places. The corpse was still warm. No footsteps on the ground. The murderer cut open the Paulie Nichols' throat. The victim wasn't dragged. That's weird. And what do we have here then? Nichols' murder took place in the... We know it wasn't the data. Nichols' murder took place on the premises. The murder moved Nichols. No. The tongue is bloated. Strangled. Or suffocated, but strangled, yes. And the victim has a bruise on the right jawbone. The bruise was caused by hard pressure with fingers. I think. Yes. Standing in front of the victim to strangle her. So the killer's right hand prevented the victim from screaming. There were relations was that the killer's left hand prevented the victim from screaming. It was the left hand. Yes, left hand. So the killer strangled the victim with his right hand. The killer strangled the victim with both hands, left hand. Well, right hand if he was keeping the left hand over her mouth. Nichols' killer is left-handed. Nichols' killer had 2 knives. Nichols' murderer right-handed or left-handed. Well, actually, that's hard one. He could be left-handed, although he strangled with right hand, so it might be right-handed. So I would say both at the moment. Okay, that was correct. Killer is a big man. Strong man is a woman. Well, by the markings, strong.
The victim was most probably dead before being laid down. Once the heart stopped, gravity drained the body slowly, not in a heavy spurt that would have stained half the street.
Thank you, Holmes. I understand why you told me not to change clothes. Do you realize that our behavior didn't alarm anyone?
The victim's ordeal was even more discreet. By acting in silence, we have confirmed something. The crime definitely took place here. The victim and her murderer were able to come here without making any noise, and afterwards the murder took place without the slightest cry being uttered. Come, Watson, let's go home. We have spent far too long in this sinister alley. And so, my dear Watson, the day and night which we passed in Whitechapel were enlightening, weren't they?
An adventure that I most certainly will never relate. To be in the skin of that poor woman. I prefer not to speak of it further. But have we really learned anything about the murderer? Obviously a man, given the necessary strength.
We have little to go on, at least no more than the police. But in my opinion, Inspector Abberline has a trick or two up his sleeve. No, I want to talk about the facts and what we can draw from them. We know where the crime was committed and under what conditions. I would like to ask you about the possible motives for the crime. According to you, Watson, what could have pushed the murderer to act in such a way?
Okay. What could have possible? Okay, revenge, love, death, madness, black magic. The victim suffered horrible mutilation, credible motive, even if it's a field of Sherlock Holmes doesn't know. The victim was occasional prostitute without family or ties. The victim lived in misery. Resentment can lead to irreparable acts. So am I understanding that I have to put these over here and then change these? Right, so resentment can lead to irreparable acts. She had the ring, so...
Revenge, Holmes?
Revenge could be a possible motive, but with one small reservation. We have reason to believe that the victim considered her murderer to be a typical client.
Yes, that is true. But maybe the client was jealous. So, according to Holmes, yes. Love. The victim suffered her. I can't change this, so it has to be connected to someone. Suffered horrible mutilation. No. Credible motive. No, the victim was an occasional prostitute without family or ties. The victim lived in misery, not mystery. Could this go here?
A personal drama.
Love can certainly lead to many a drama, but we have to consider the fact that the victim didn't know her attacker.
Okay, so it's no then, I'm guessing. I don't know. Theft. Well, no, she didn't really have money.
Theft, perhaps.
I have a hard time believing that someone would attack poor Paulie so fiercely just to rob her of a few coins.
Not impossible, but very improbable. Madness. Horrible mutilations.
Homicidal insanity, Holmes.
It is indubitable that the man who did this to Paulie Nichols is not of his full senses.
Well, he could be. But yes, then. Black magic, credible motive in... Really?
Black magic?
I'm not terribly interested in the occult or black magic. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to this motive.
So, yes?
Elementary.
Oh, okay.
Very well, Watson. I think that we've exhausted the topic. Take a rest and we'll speak again later.
Ah, it would seem that the investigation is advancing, Holmes. Yesterday's Star said that a suspect is in the hands of the police, a man with a rather sinister reputation.
I was about to join you in your optimistic outlook until you informed me that the good news came from the press, Watson.
But surely they wouldn't invent the fact that the police are holding a suspect, or the acts that are attributed to him.
You will have an exact answer to these two questions in less than 50 seconds, Watson.
Pardon?
Enter, Inspector.
Good day.
Dear Watson, allow me to introduce Inspector Abberline, Inspector Dr. Watson.
Inspector?
To what do we owe the honour of your presence, Inspector?
I heard that the two of you made your way to Whitechapel a few days ago. Your arrival, you are aware, coincides with a very serious affair which our police service is going to great lengths to solve and which is creating strong tensions in the area.
Pardon me, but haven't you arrested someone? A certain Leather Apron?
Absolutely not. The man who hides behind this name is indeed being actively searched for by the force. Besides, nothing at the moment suggests that he is the Bucks Row murderer.
There, you've been enlightened, Watson. Now it is our turn to answer Inspector Abberline's questions.
Indeed. I will be brief and precise. Do you intend to investigate this case, or have you already started?
It is to be of service to a friend that I went to Whitechapel. We did, out of curiosity, familiarise ourselves with the preliminary reports, and we made our way to the scene of the crime. Our conclusions are slim, as are the clues. Having not been officially appointed by a client, I believe that my intervention in this business will end there.
Very well. To be frank, you take the weight off my shoulders by distancing yourself from the case. Our image isn't very good, to say nothing of what the press puts us through. Thus, if overnight they found out that you were on the case, people would turn against us.
And they would pester me, overwhelm me, and finally make me out to be responsible for the inevitable failure such a scenario entails. Neither you nor I wish for this to happen. I know that your time is precious, Inspector. I will send you a note regarding my conclusions shortly.
With pleasure. Gentlemen?
Do you think that he will find the murderer?
The chances are slim to non-existent. It is 7 days now, short of a confession from the murderer himself.
And you will not go further?
You heard the Inspector, Watson. My presence in Whitechapel would hinder, which doesn't mean that we will drop the case.
How is that?
The Inspector spoke of me, but not of us. It is you, Watson, who will lead the investigation tonight. It is you who will bring to the police station the little note that I will write regarding our conclusions. Despite the late hour, there is nothing to stop you from making inquiries about this famous Leather Apron while you are there.
And yes. Okay, I'm gonna read this and then we end this episode. Leather Apron. The sense of fear which the murder of the unfortunate woman Nichols has thrown over the neighborhood, and especially over her companions, show no signs of decreasing. A number of the street wanderers are in nightly terror of Leather Apron. One of our reporters visited one of the single women's lodging houses last night. It is in Troll Street, one of the darkest and most terrible-looking spots in the Whitechapel. The house keeps open till 1 o'clock in the morning and reopens again at 5. In the house nightly are 66 women who get their bed for 4 pence. The proprietor of the place, who is also owner of several other houses of similar character in the neighborhood, told some gruesome stories of the man who has now come to be regarded as the terror of the East End. Night after night, he said, had a woman come in a fainting condition after being knocked about by a Leather Apron. He himself would never be out in the neighborhood after 12 o'clock at night, except with a loaded revolver. The terror, he said, would go to a public house or a coffee room and peep in through the window to see if a particular woman was there. He would then vanish, lying in wait for his victim at some convenient corner hidden from the view of everybody. The police are making efforts to arrest him, but he constantly changes his quarters. Some of the unfortunate women state that he is now one of the low slums in the Borough. One of them said she saw him crossing London Bridge as stealthily as usual with head bent. Borough. One of them said saw him crossing London Bridge as stealthily as usual with the head bent, his skimpy coat turned up about his ears and looking as if he were in a desperate hurry. The hunt for a Leather Apron began in earnest last evening. Constable 43 and 173 J Division, into whose hands a Leather Apron fell on Sunday afternoon, were detailed to accompany Detective Enright of the J Division in search through all the quarters where the crazy Jew was likely to be. They began at 10:30 in Church Street in Shoreditch, rumour having located the suspected man there. They went through lodging houses, into pubs, down side streets, threw their bullseye into every shadow, and searched the quarter thoroughly, but without result. The hunt continued. Later down in the Brick Lane neighbourhood, Florentine Lane being Leather Apron's preferred lodging place lately. He was not found here. However, and the search, which then took the direction of the London hospital, resulted in nothing. It is general belief that the man has left the district. The clue furnished by the woman who denounced the man on Sunday is a very unfortunate one. Her offer to prove by 2 women that Leather Apron was seen walking with the murdered woman in Baker's Row at 2 o'clock last Friday morning is the most direct bit of evidence that yet has appeared. His conduct on Sunday was as usual. He never answers a question when it's up to him and only speaks under strong compulsion. Mike, the grocer in George's Yard, dwelt a long time last evening on this peculiarity. He knows Leather Apron very well and has known him for 6 years. He says that the man is unquestionably mad, and that anybody who met him face to face would know it, that his eyes are never still but are always shifting uneasily, and he never looks anybody in the eye. Leather Apron used to live in a lodging house around the corner from the grocery and was turned out there some months ago with an order not to return. The lodging house is a few doors below the model doorway in which the Turner woman was found with 39 stabs. Okay. So now we are controlling Watson and we are going to the Whitechapel by ourselves. And we bring the documents. Can I change? No, probably not. You must deduce the effects based on the observations. You may click on the okay. And yeah, we have to go and what is this? Oh, okay. And Nope, wrong button. Notes. Yeah, we have to bring the notes to the police station, and yeah, that's next time. We managed to accomplish a little bit. Our first murder scene. Oh, we can enter here now. Okay. I'm almost certain that Sherlock Holmes will be using his disguise ability at least a few times in this game. Anything we can do here? No. Well, that's understandable. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and next time we will continue and try to solve the Jack the Ripper case. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Until then, goodbye.